Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk and I'm a makeup artist, and in this video I'm going to show you 4 beautiful and gorgeous evening eye makeup looks, which I'm going to create with the Zoeva Naturally Yours eyeshadow palette. And I used like so many different techniques. I also kept it very simple, as well as only mattes and shimmers, so that we have a little bit more of different looks that you can also use and that you also can pick if you want to recreate them at home. And of course, you don't have to have the Zoeva Naturally Yours palette. If you have similar shadows and you love the look, just go ahead and recreate it. Now, starting off with the first eye makeup look, which is the matte eye makeup look. And I'm going to dig into the first shadow, which is a Slow Dance, and it's a matte shadow which we're going to focus towards the outer corner. And for that, I'm also going to use a bigger crease brush. So starting off with a little bit more of a denser, but still you're able to blend with this brush, as it will help you, and it is also a bit larger so that I can cover a certain area a bit quicker. And so once you have applied the dark matte shadow towards the outer corner, we now can move on to the next step, which is applying a little bit of a lighter brown shadow towards the mid area on the main eyelid area. And for that, you either could use your finger, but you also can stick with a flat eyeshadow brush or crease brush, whatever suits you if you want to apply it on the main lid area, as long as you are getting the result that you want to get with the tools that you're going to use. I mean, you would get the same result if you're using a flat eyeshadow brush or your finger. If you want to create a little bit more of a blending and smoky effect, you can also use a blending brush or a crease brush. So make sure that you're also using the tools that you feel comfortable with and also achieving the desired result. And so I'm going to dig into Soft and Sexy, which is the light brown shadow, and focusing it on the mid section of the lid area, as well as blending it into the darker shadow. And so once you're happy on how you blended the second shadow, we now can move on to the next step, which is applying a lighter shadow towards the inner corner and inner center of the lid area. And it's the same thing, like you can use a crease brush, a flat eyeshadow brush, your finger, whatever suits you the best, and then digging into the lighter matte shadow and blending it towards the mid section, like the second lightest shade, as well as you can use the lighter shade if you need to blend around the edges so that you will have a smoother finish. And so once you place the lighter shade and you blended the edges and you're happy with how it looks like, we now can move on to the next step, which is digging into the black, like almost dark blue shadow, and creating a liner with it. And you either can use an angled brush for it or a straight brush, which looks like basically a square shaped brush. And you can also create a beautiful winged liner with it and digging into the shadow so that it still will intensify that outer corner part, but it also will be looking a little bit softer because you're using eyeshadow as a liner and not gel or liquid. And so once you're happy on how you place the shadows as well as the eyeliner, then this is already the finished eye makeup look. And matte shadows are so beautiful on their own. You don't always have to use shimmers for evening eye makeup looks. And if you like to, you also can add a bit of mascara to your lashes. Now for the second evening eye makeup look, we are going to keep it really simple. Basically matte shadow and some shimmer, as this will also do your night. And I'm going to start off with the same shadow that I used earlier for the outer corner, which was Slow Dance, the dark brown matte shadow. And I'm using it on the same crease brush as I used earlier, just because it will give me a quicker and also a little bit more precise application. And so once you're happy on how you place the outer corner shadow, we now can move on to the next step, which is applying the shimmer on the main lid area. And for this one, I'm going to use Forever Yours, which is a beautiful shimmery shadow, and it also shifts like into a bluish like shadow, so that you basically have like two eyeshadows on the main lid area, depending on how the lights hit your eyes. And so I'm going to apply it with my finger, just because this will work the best and also the easiest. And so once you placed also the main lid shadow and you're happy on how you blended it together, as well as brought it up a little bit higher if needed depending on your eye shape, then this is already the final look. And this is also such an easy evening eye makeup look, but it still is very special. So for the next eye makeup look, we are going to use a similar technique as I did for the second eye makeup look, but we're going to change it up and use also a third color to help us blend the edges. And for the first step, I'm going to start off with Timeless Chic, which is the black, well, dark blue shadow right here. And it's also a matte one, which I'm going to focus towards the outer corner. And I'm going to stick with a rounded dancer brush so that I can like press it on and then also use it to blend it a bit when it comes to the edges. And so with this shade, you basically can add the darkness as you personally like. You can start it at the very outer corner, or you can also bring it a little bit more towards the midsection, depending on how dark you want to create the look. And so once you have applied the darker shadow towards the outer corner and you decided on how far you want to bring it in towards the midsection, then now we can move on to a shimmery shadow. And for that, I'm also going to apply it with my finger, and I'm going to dig into Lovely Monday. Well, what a surprise, it's a darker shadow. And this is a beautiful brown shadow that works beautifully if you want to create more of a darker but still shimmery evening eye makeup look. And this one doesn't shift, like it doesn't shift into a different color. This one stays brown, but it still performs so beautifully on the eyelid area. Now what you can do if you hit the pan with your nail and you have something like this going on, you always can take a little sponge as well as a very stiff brush where you really can rub it off, and you can also, if needed, dig into some foundation, but you can also just take the rest what's on it and erase it and clean it. I'm also going to grab a flat eyeshadow brush, digging into the same brown shadow so that I can get a little bit more of a precise curve right here, which will help us later on for blending. And so once you have applied the shimmery shade on the main lid area as well as towards the inner corner area, we now can move on to the next step, which is blending. And this is also why I wanted to clean up this area right here. So now with a denser blending brush, or you can also use a crease brush, we now can dig into a matte shadow again. And I'm going to dig into Soft and Sexy, which is the light brown matte shadow right here. And I'm going to help this, or use this to help me blend the shadows together, as well as creating a little bit more of a crease color as well. You can also use a clean blending brush if you need to, and if you want to soften the edges a bit more. And so once you're happy on how you blended the light brown shadow and blended the black one and the dark brown shimmery shadow into each other, then this is what we want, because now we can move on to the last step, which is applying and highlighting shade towards the inner corner. And for that I'm also going to use the shadow Casual Elegance, which is a beautiful shimmery shadow, and you either can apply it with a very tiny brush towards the inner corner, or you can use your pinky finger, or combine those two. Whatever will give you a beautiful application towards the inner corner. And I'm going to use the brush at first and later on the finger. And so once you place the inner corner shadow, then this is already the finished look. All what's missing is a bit of mascara, and if you like to, of course, false eyelashes, but this is optional. And just have fun with this more dramatic and creative still evening eye makeup look. And for the last evening eye makeup look, I was thinking about showing you how you can create a beautiful halo eye makeup look. And this works so beautifully with the Naturally Yours palette that I just had to show you how to do it. And this is more of a longer eye makeup look. It will take a bit of time, but it still is worth it because it will look gorgeous at the end. And I'm also going to add some shadow on the lower lash line as well. So for step number 1, we're going to start off with a lighter matte shadow. And I'm going to dig into Soft and Sexy with a crease brush that I used earlier. And we're going to focus this shadow towards the inner corner as well as outer corner of the upper eyelid area. So once you place the light brown shadow towards the inner and outer part, we now can move on to the next step, which is applying a dark brown shadow to the same areas we just applied the lighter ones. The only difference is that we are not going to bring it up that high. So this one should still be the highest and also will help us later on to blend the darker shadow that we are going to use on top. And we are going to keep it even more towards the corner area so that we have a lighter shadow and then like a little bit underneath and also more intense darker shadow. And so for that I'm also going to use a little bit more of a precise brush. I'm going to stick with a round brush like this one because it just will make life easier when it comes to the inner corner, especially also towards the outer corner, and help us blend the two shadows together. So I'm going to dig into a slow dance and doing just the same as I did with the first step. Now once you place the darker shadow towards the outer and inner corner as well, now for the next step we're going to repeat the same for the lower lash line. Starting off with the light brown shadow and the crease brush. You can also use a little bit more of a precise brush like a flat eyeshadow brush or also like a petite brush if you like to. And I'm going to start off with the lighter one, doing the same outer and inner corner and then digging into the darker shadow and intensifying it as well on the like inner corner and outer corner as well. And now I'm going to repeat the same with a darker shadow, but I'm going to stick with the brush that I used earlier. And so once you have applied those two shadows on the lower lash line, we now can move on to the next step, which is blending. And I'm going to use a blending brush for it, as well as digging into the shade Pure, which is a very light beige brown shadow. And I'm going to use this one to blend all the shadows together before we're digging into some shimmer. And so once you're happy on how you blended the shadows all together, that it will look smooth, we now can move on to the next step, which is applying some shimmer on the main lid area. And for that I was thinking of going into Smooth Harmony, because this is such a beautiful shimmer, which is pink, but it also shifts into a beautiful yellowish golden tone. And I just thought that this is perfect for the main lid area. And I'm going to place it on the upper part as well as the lower lash line. And now once you placed it on the main lid area, you now can go ahead and take a brush to help you blend it to the other shadows. Now I'm going to use a smaller brush to apply it on the lower lash line as well. You can also use your pinky if you like to, but the more specific you want to get, the better it is with a brush, just because you have a bit more control and it is also a little bit more of a precise brush. And so once you have applied it on the main lid area as well as lower lash line, we now can move on to the next step, which is applying a highlighter towards the inner corner. Now keep in mind that this is optional. You don't have to use a shimmer shadow towards the inner corner. You can keep it matte as it is because of the halo effect, and you use the matte shadows towards the inner corner. But if you like to emphasize the inner corner a bit more, a shimmer shadow will always look gorgeous. And I'm going to dig into Casual Elegance again, as I did earlier, because this is the lightest shimmer of the whole palette. And so once you place the lightest shadow towards the inner corner as well, this is how you can create a beautiful and gorgeous halo eye makeup look. And what's really gorgeous about this eye makeup look is that you keep the main focus on the mid area of your eyes, so that it really emphasizes your eyes and also can make them look larger because of the mid part right here. So the shape of your eyes can also change a bit more. Now the only thing that's missing is a bit of mascara, and if you like to, false eyelashes, but you don't have to. And this is already the finished eye makeup look, and this is also the last eye makeup look that I prepared for you guys. I do hope that you enjoyed the whole video. Each eye makeup look, let me know which of the 4 you like the most and you also would wear if you're going out. I personally really like all of them. They do have like their own stories on. Some are very simple, some are a little bit more trickier or dramatic. So those are so many like varieties that you can apply as an evening eye makeup look. You just need to feel a bit inspired by the eyeshadow palette that you're going to use. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it, as this is an independent channel. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. This means a lot, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!